Good morning, everybody. If you missed our lesson for today, this is being recorded on Tuesday, January 5th. And today we talked a little bit about our first assignment in sculpture. So, the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to go to the tab titled Crazy Machines in the table of contents here on your regular old Canvas page. And we will see a couple of examples of some machines. Now, what I want you to get out of this, and you can read through this short, but what I want you to get out of this is that some machines are designed with the idea of form being very important. Form meaning what it looks like rather than what it does. I always think about, say, like Apple computer products are very much favoring form over function because it's all about what it looks like. It's not so much based on what it does. What it does is usually sort of hidden underneath this sort of beautiful design. So that is a product that follows form over function. The other kind of machine, oftentimes, and I like to think about farm equipment usually. Farmers are very practical. Particularly, they don't need to worry about what something looks like as long as it does what it's supposed to do. And that's what farm equipment often does. It favors function over form. So you can see here the combine, it's big and clunky and not very pretty, but it definitely does its job. Okay. So those are the two ideas, form over function or function over form. Let's look at a few more examples. So here we have a crazy chemistry set. Now, every time I show this to students, I get two different answers. Some people think that this is all about form because the look is so complicated. Other people say it's all about function because the mechanics of it are so obvious. I suppose this could be both in a way. It just depends on how you want to take it. The artist obviously spent a lot of time trying to really work on form when it looks like the function itself is pretty minimal. It just looks like it's taking one dot and turning it to a different color, really. But, sometimes it's not always easy to tell. Here's another one that is a good one. This one, most people suggest that it is all about function as opposed to form. The mechanics of it, the motor part or whatever it is with the electric wire is all out in the open where you can see it. And perhaps this is the inside of a machine. Maybe when the machine has its cover on, it's all about form. When it's got the cover off, it's all about function. Here's one that I always liken to a Rube Goldberg machine. If you've never heard of Rube Goldberg, I definitely know you've seen his influence in cartoons. Phineas and Ferb is a really good example of Rube Goldberg style contraptions where you have a million different little pieces where a domino will knock a marble, which will cut a string, which will cause a candle to burn through a rope, which causes a bowling ball to fall into a bucket, and on and on and on until finally it drops a tiny little mouse trap over a mouse. That was what this guy Rube Goldberg designed, this idea, this sort of joke machine. And that's what this always sort of reminds me of. Oh, let's see. All right, here's another one. This is form or function. I would say in this case it's probably form rather than function because I can't see that those giant wheels would really be all that functional or necessary. And if this is indeed a machine of war, which is what it looks like, it seems like those would be a big hindrance. I would say this is a design of a tank that never actually existed. I would say it never existed probably because they were too concerned with form rather than function. Now here's a machine that definitely favors function over form. This is a real machine. Looks, first time I saw it, I thought it was some sort of Photoshop deal. This is an excavator for a mining company, and this is definitely a functional machine over something with a particular form. If you want to see this in action, go watch Ghost Rider 2. Not a great movie, but it does have a pretty cool scene with a machine like this. Finally, let's look at this one. This one, I always ask students what they think it is. Oftentimes I get musical instruments, other times I get spaceships. I always think of it as kind of like a flying hot rod motorcycle sort of a thing. This is definitely influenced by the work of a Swiss artist named H.R. Giger, who is the guy who designed all the stuff for the Alien movies. So if you've seen any of the Alien movies, you've seen work that's similar to this, where it's a lot of biological mixed with mechanical, and it's sort of, they kind of flow in and out of each other, and it's sort of creepy but cool at the same time. And I would say this is a machine that definitely favors form over function. All right, so your assignment is going to be to design your own crazy machine. Now, what I want you to do, I'm not going to make us sit and watch this right now, but it's on your Canvas page. I would like you to watch this movie about the Sneetches. It's about 11 minutes long. It's a Dr. Seuss, but I want you to pay particular attention to how Dr. Seuss builds these machines and how he gives them all these interesting angles and roundnesses and tubes and ducts that don't do anything. And then I want you to make your own machine. Now, your machine doesn't have to be a Dr. Seuss machine if you don't want it to be, but sometimes that's a fun way to go. I have a couple of examples of machines that people have made in the past that were sort of Dr. Seuss inspired. And you're definitely, you can definitely go in this direction, or you can go in another direction. You don't have to make it Dr. Seuss inspired, but you need to think about whether your machine is going to favor function or whether it's going to favor form. Are you really going to think about what this machine does, or are you not going to worry so much about what it does, but really be more concerned with what it looks like? I want you to make sure you put your machine in some kind of environment, whether or not you build a room around it, or, this is all a drawing, by the way. Or if you just do simply like what this person did, which was break the top half of the picture into blue and make the bottom half white, and then put a line in between, and that's enough to give it a sort of an environment, a little horizon there. So it needs to exist in some place. And when you are all done, I'm going to have you go to your Canvas page. You're going to go to this link here that says quiz for the project due January 15th. You'll click on that. There are some questions to answer, and then you can upload your picture that way. All right. Have fun. Make sure you email or call me if you have any questions. We will not have a Zoom meeting for the rest of the week. The next Zoom meeting will be on the Monday the 11th. All right. Thanks.